I'm an audience, I get to see Yihingwa, I get to see Timon, as and then and if the viewing experience is nice, we'll get more sponsors and investors. So as such, the cubing community will grow bigger, and if that even if the competitive side gets bigger, the WCA will also get bigger because that's like how the because WCA wants to grow the cubing community.
Hello everyone, I am Hitesh and this is HC Talks with Pranav Gadge, who is our current OH national record holder, and also he is the eighth Indian to have a sub 7 official average in 3 by 3. Also, he is the fastest Roux solver in both 3 by 3 and OH in India. So, hello Pranav Bhaiya, how are you?
Hi, Tish. I'm fine. How are you? I'm glad to be part of HC Talks.
Yes, all fine. So,
Yeah.
firstly, for people who don't know what Roux is basically a solving method similar to CFOP or the layer by layer method. It is also a speed solving method, and like many people don't know, everybody knows about CFOP, but Roux is, I would say, a less explored method. Even I tried to find some videos for learning Roux just to try it out, but there were very few videos, or at least I could not find it because the search is like the search volume of CFOP is so much, and that the Roux videos, even if there are few, and the views are less, so the reach is less. Right. So Roux is basically a method which mostly uses the M moves. Hmm. So and the funnier part is that people think that M moves are harder to do on OH, but I have seen that personally, Roux solvers are like Roux is a very good method for OH as people say, and also as Pranav Bhaiya has proven. So just giving a brief about Pranav Bhaiya more. Pranav Bhaiya recently broke the 6 by the OH national record single. I'm habituated to say 6 by 6 again and again. So he recently broke the 6 by 6 against the OH national record single with a solve time of 6.29 seconds. So that was like top 5 in the world when it was broken. First in India, obviously, and second in Asia. I guess it's just below Sean Patrick. Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Hmm.
So right now he's sixth
It's
in the
tied
world.
with Andreche.
Yeah.
So,
So it is tied with him. So that's a huge milestone, I would say, reaching top 5 in the world out of a sudden. Not out of a sudden, actually, I would say, but from like he was ranked much below
I
and
think
he got a
I think
sixth
around
second.
30th, I think maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
My
So
last
38
one.
to 5th is like insane jump, 6.29
Big, big.
seconds in OH. I have a
Mhm.
8 flat single in 3 by 3 officially. So that's bad. So I'm more interested about learning that how did you start your Cuban journey, and did you start it with Roux itself, or the way the standard process of LDL then CFOP, then you thought of taking up Roux? So tell us about your Cuban journey, like how did you start?
Okay, so what happened is that my brother bought a Rubik's Cube and he wanted to solve it because I think it was popular in his school at that time. So when he bought that Rubik's Cube, my mother first learned how to solve it. Then my mother taught him, and then eventually, after some time, even I learned how to solve one. And then after learning how to solve it, I took a break. I mean, I wasn't really interested in it. But what happened was that in 2017, um, like Rubik's Cube again became popular in my school, and and in my class there were two speed cubers. I think yeah, there were two speed cubers, and I wanted to beat them. So so again I relearned how to solve one, and then because I wanted to beat them, I tried to get faster, and then I went down the spiral because I wanted to beat them, then I wanted to beat someone else, and then again faster and faster and faster. And I first started with the LBL method, the beginner one, and then I switched to CFOP for around I think 2 months, and then I stumbled upon I think critical cubing's video and like Kian Mansoor's videos. I think and I think even Japam made a video. I think telling that he tried Ru at one point. So I thought that Ru at that time I thought Ru was faster. So and I thought I kind of got and I didn't want to be mainstream. So I gave Ru a try and I liked it. So I went with it and then I stuck with it. So basically my whole speed cubing journey is basically using Roux only, not much CFOP.
Correct. So for people like Pranav Bhaiya participates very less. Like actually this year I guess he participated much more compared to what he used to do previously.
Yeah.
I first saw him at my first competition, Phoenix Cube Challenge 2022. Um,
Oh my God.
so yeah, I was
I think I
there.
only went for 100, right? I went for
Correct.
100, then
Yeah,
back home.
correct.
Yeah.
So people were like I was like seeing the buzz about Pranav Gadge, like everyone was talking about him, like Pranav is coming, Pranav is coming, Pranav is coming, and the cameras on him were like insane. So I was just seeing, and he was almost on the verge of breaking the NR, and he missed it as far as I remember. I guess
Yeah.
the last solve, if it would have been a little faster, it would have been NR. Kind of
Yeah.
this is something that I remember. So it was like insane. We didn't had a talk that time, but now we have a good relation.
Good friendship.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. So for sure, we will be meeting in 2025 in the upcoming
Yeah.
competitions for sure. So Pranabhaya is basically like you guys can imagine like he is a science student, so you can imagine his struggles. So that's why he is a little bit out of the competition. Like he doesn't participate too much, but still I am happy to see that he is participating more recently, and he has proven as well that he is why he is the OH god. And recently in the last competition also, I guess he in the last competition he broke the sub 7 barrier for himself, and he is very close to beating the NR as well. So, as a CFOP user, I am a little bit curious about Roux because I tried it, like tried to learn it. I didn't find much of a resources, and I was lazy enough. So I didn't try to go with Roux at all. But I want to understand that how simple is Roux compared to CFOP, or how difficult it is, and what is the learning pattern, like how much things do you not need to learn in Roux compared to CFOP. So, like for example, let's say CFOP, for 2 look OLL PLL we have 13 algorithms. Hmm. In that, like if a person knows 13 algorithms with F12 also, he can be easy sub 20 or sub 15 even. Correct. For Roux, is there any beginner part and advanced part? And in CFOP, total 78 last layer algorithms are there. Similarly, in Roux, how many are there? So I would like to know about this.
So, I mean, if Roux is tougher or CFOP is tougher, I think it depends on what level are you at currently. If you're a complete beginner, I think you can actually teach them Roux. I think Kian has a video series on how to solve the Rubik's cube using the Roux method. So you can easily teach the Roux method to a beginner. But if you're transitioning from CFOP to Roux, that's pretty tough because what happens is in CFOP you have the cross solved, and when you have the cross solved, it kind of limits your block building, then by that it restricts your mental ability to like think how to solve in different ways. So if you're transitioning from CFOP, Roux is kind of tough, but transitioning from Roux to CFOP is pretty easy. And as for like how many Arabs and stuff there are, I mean, I think there are 42 cases for CMLI, which is solving the corners, uh, and I think maybe around six SAGs for LSE. So it's not that many as anyways. And this is the like more advanced version of the Roux method. And with this like around like guess 50 ALs maybe, you can easily get like sub 8. You can basically get world class basically. Um, I mean, I think Sean Patrick basically was using the CMLL and LSE, like pure LSE, and not much anything advanced like ULR. And I think he got like sub 7 averages with that. So you can definitely be world class even with not many others.
Got it. So, like, other than the interest that you found that Roux is a little bit unconventional right now, and like not even in 2017, but right now also it's a little bit
Yeah,
unconventional for people, especially considering the current world record single of OH is with CFOP, and that was
yeah,
out of a sudden with DSM.
DSM.
So,
Yeah,
what do you think? Like, do you think that anyway either CFOP or Roux is more superior in 3 by 3 or OH solving in any of the terms, or do you think that it's all about preferences and what has the person practiced with for a longer period of time?
Okay, so there are two ways to go about it. First is if you find something fun, you will practice it more, but being fast is more fun. So uh, there's two ways to approach it, right? Most people will find that being faster is fun because if you're fast, you'll get like more fame, more practice, like more trophies and stuff. And um, for one handed, I think Rue is definitely better. If you look at current Rue solvers, even the top ones, there are a lot of mistakes, and many of them average much better at home, and they aren't able to perform at their level in competitions. And even then, even their home averages are not that good. I mean, they're really good, but I think they can be a lot of optimization. For example, I don't. I mean, not many people plan the first two blocks for Roux solving, which is the first block and second block. Um, in inspection. But compared to let's say top solvers like Yi Hing Wang in two-handed, they're easily able to plan two, three pairs in inspection, like even in competitions. So inspection is something we can definitely improve, and even then still, Ru is still getting these good results. So but in one-handed, I think Ru is definitely superior. But in two-handed, I don't. Two-handed, I think it's a bit more subjective, but I think CFOP is definitely better than Ru, mostly because uh, the um, the moveset for CFOP is bit easier because after every R move you have to do an R prime, so you always stay in home grip, and inspection is bit easier. And the one step which is CMLL in Ru is after doing the second block, it's kind of hard to have a seamless second block to CMLL transition. There are a few developments taking place, like Trogan tile recognition and ATCRM recognition, which plans to improve CMLL prediction during second block, and even different traditional method of recognizing corner permutation can still get you a fair bit amount of CMLL prediction. I mean, in my 100 solve, the national record won 6.29, and I did CMLL prediction. So that's why the solve was so far. So there is bit of room for Root to improve in two-handed, but I think CFOP still takes the edge over Root.
Got it. So one thing I want to know in terms of the move counts, which has lesser move counts, CFOP or Roux? CFOP usually it's around 50 to 60 moves as a
Oh,
good solver.
mm,
In
mm.
Roux at a good level, what is the number of moves?
I really don't know, but uh, I think Root has a lower move count, but like I said, CFOP has a better move set. And for example, in one-handed, actually, I think there was a study by someone, I think Gill maybe. Um, he actually analyzed all of Juliet's solves, and he found that that found that her solves in one-handed were um, that that her move count was really similar or even lower than some of the Roux solvers. So you can definitely achieve pretty good move count with CFOP, and and in my opinion, I don't think move count is that necessary, that important. And even my solving style is basically is kind of not really to like prefer ergonomics and TPS and stuff over the move count. So I don't think it's like I think even if the move count is lower, it's not by much. I think around maybe 5 to 10 moves at best.
Got it.
And with
So
Z
yeah,
attached to
as per you
the
said,
move
yeah,
count.
correct.
Yeah, continue.
So as you said that the thing remains that Roux is a little bit more dominant above CFOP in at least OH. Hmm? Can you say like what do you think actually that why is Roux not yet so popular or so conventional? And like it's not only about that people don't learn because though CFOP has gained a lot of popularity, and if I see that someone like maybe Yang Wang is using CFOP and he's world class, Max Part, Timon, all of the top solvers right now in the world, most of the top solvers, not all, most of the top solvers use CFOP. And so as a beginner or as an intermediate cuber, I would also tend to go towards it. But for people who know about Roux, but still, why do you think that they prefer CFOP?
So the first of all is that most people start out with CFOP. And like I've told you, transitioning from CFOP to root takes a lot of time. It's not easy. There are very few people who have actually successfully transitioned from CFOP to root. Like I think Fami have done it, Johang has done it. But yeah, most people are not able to do it. Second thing is that results show that for 200 especially, that CFOP is better. And now, so the only real advantage is one-handed, and I don't really think people are willing to put in effort to learn Ru and actually use Ru to get world class at one-handed. Not even world class, like the top five people. Like I mean, you can use CFOP and like be good enough to get into world championship finals. So I mean, how like not many people really want to be the world record holder necessarily. So it's not really worth the effort to learn Ro, in my opinion, because there's only one event, and even then CFOP is still good enough to get you to the finals. So not really worth it in my opinion.
Got it. So you are mainly focused on 3 by 3 and low edge. Hmm. Do you think that you would take up other events seriously? Like right now, I can see you have also participated in 2 by 2, 4 by 4, 5 by 5 pyramids and
Hmm.
cube. I believe this is just for the sake of competing in a
Sure.
competition as you're going into it. Hmm. And so, do you think that you would be willing to take, or do you plan to take up any more events as your not necessarily main events, but at least you could be decent and maybe top 30 or 40 in India in those?
So right now my goal, like, primary goal is to focus on 3 by 3 and one-handed. If time permits, I'll probably do some 2 by 2, 4 by 4, and 5 by 5. I mean, I don't really enjoy 2 by 2, but I think it's pretty easy to improve on. And I basically know everything. I just need to actually do some like 1,000 solves, and I'll probably get good at it. But 4 by 4, 4 by 4, and 5 by 5 I actually enjoy, but I'm not really that good at it. So if I actually improve, if I actually do it, then I'll improve. Then maybe I'll actually get into it. But right now, for the like foreseeable future, I'll probably only do 3 by 3 and 100.
One issue that I realized just now with Roux is that suppose if you're only doing Roux for OH, that's fine. But if you're doing Roux for 3 by 3 as well, one big issue will be becoming good at big cubes in terms of the 3 by 3 stage. Because necessarily, like up till 4 by 4, maybe you can try and use some middle moves. Not suggested, but surely you can try it out, considering that you are good at 3 by 3. But even if you are 6 second average on 3 by 3, someone who uses CFOP and is maybe 10-second average, he might be overtaking you in 4 by 4 because, or the big cubes, because the M moves in big cubes is literally not suggested and very hard to do, especially the big ones, 5, 6, 7. Correct. So that is something that I feel is a deal breaker for some people. Because like personally for me also, um, as I am a big cube solver, like that was proven in the first part of the video. I'm telling six by six instead of OH. So as I'm a big cube solver, so I would like the biggest, like one of the biggest weakness in my solve is the 3 by 3 stage. I usually tend to mess up even with CFOP. So I would obviously not imagining that I would I would like play or risk it with the Roux method. Correct. So this is something that what do you think? Like, because rule limits a little bit, because some people might be curious after watching this video to try out Rue. But do you think there is a alternative, like maybe using CFOP to the big queues would make sense even if you're using Rue for OH and 3 by 3? Or do you think, and like, do you know any good solver in Rue who uses for OH and 3 by 3, but he or she is very good at big queues as well using Rue?
Yeah, so I think Dwayne is good at 6 by 6 and 7 by 7. I think he has the national record for both of these events or at least he had them for national records in these both events. And I think yeah, it is a deal breaker because, and not even especially on 3 by 3 stage. If you're doing the equivalent of Yao on big cubes for Ru, what happens is that the edge pairing step, you have to use like the wide U moves for wide, like U moves like the ones, and because you can't break the first block. In CFOP, what you can do is back inserts to solve to do the edge pairing. But in Roux or the equivalent Mayor, you have to do front inserts only, and that that really limits that increases the move count a lot, and the 3 by stage is still slower than CFOP. So, anyways, it's going to be slower. But I think it's I mean, if you're using Roux at a high level, you probably know good amount of CFOP knowledge. You have good amount of CFOP knowledge, so you should probably stick to Yao or Redux. I think Yao is taking over, right? But you can just use Redux Yao because um, I mean, if because since the I think from what I've noticed, rule solvers usually struggle with CFOP only during the cross and like starting F12 pairs. Uh, and in Yao you will have the cross solved. So the looker becomes really easy, and as for the OLL pair, it's just algorithms. So if you learn the algorithms, you'll get good at it. So if you're using Roux on 3 by 3, then you can try out Mayor if you want for bigger cubes, or just stick to Yao like everyone does.
Got it. So yeah, technically there are few people like you said, Duane Ramos. So is good at big cubes. So it's like again, if you want, you can surely pull off, and maybe if you know that you have a weakness in 3 by 3 stage, and then maybe you can rectify the other stages. And considering that, I would preferably say that it's nearly very hard or near to impossible to be like nearly to the world record level in
Yeah.
Roux using for 3 by 3 and OS, and same being at the same level like maybe top five in the big cubes using Roux for the 3 by 3 stage, because every millisecond matters at a higher level. So it might be a deal breaker, but again, it's like what do you prefer? It's everyone's preference, that because I feel that everyone should at least try out different events and then try to focus
Yeah.
on a particular event and go on with that. Like most of the people stick with 3 by 3 itself, and that's not bad. Obviously, that's the main and the classic Rubik's cube. But it's always good to try out other events, because personally, when I started, I used to do only 3 by 3. I got up till 13, 14 like this. And then I started with multiple events, and eventually I enjoy big cubes the most. Even at a point, I was not enjoying 4 by 4. I didn't used to like 4 by 4. But now when I practice it, I'm enjoying 4 by 4. Correct. So yeah, it's all about the preferences and what goals you have for the future with your particular events. And accordingly, people can think about what method do they want to use. But so I want to know that how do you actually make your practice schedule like for finger trades, because finger trades is one of the most important parts of Roux. If you
For
don't have
100.
proper finger trades, both 100 and 3 by 3, both I would say, and because in both the events, the M moves are required, especially in 100, no doubt. But like suppose if I have two blocks built, and block building is simple in terms of the concept, but it's not very easy to do in terms of the speed that you need, and considering that your middle layer is unsolved, as you were saying about it. So how do you keep your practice schedule? Because as I know, you have exams, you have your studies going on, everything. So how is your practice schedule, and how do you suggest people to stick to a practice schedule for cubing overall, and maybe Roux as well, if you have certain tips?
So I mean, I'm not the right person to ask because I go for months without practicing anything. But if you I think comps or competitions are a good source of motivator. I mean, when I was planning to go to Asians, uh, I was practicing OH daily and doing around 50 100 solves, even if I didn't have any time. So you should have something to motivate you, whether that be a competition or something in your personal record, national record, continental record, world record, anything. And as for how to how to arrange your practice schedule, I think first and foremost is the fundamentals. You want, and what is the fundamental? It's the fingertips, not the basic steps like efficiency or not the like the triangle, which is efficiency, move count, and yeah, no, so efficiency, TPS, and look at not the triangle, but the most important is the fingertips, and that's something you have to learn at the beginning, because when you learn it at the beginning, what happens is that uh, you will get more practice out of. So, for example, if I delay learning the M move for one-handed with this one for one-handed, like this, it's not saying actually, but if you delay it, you'll improve, but you will not get used to that fingertips. So you're just dealing the inevitable, and that's why you should learn the fingertips and then keep doing solves and drill algorithms. And for the rest of the aspects of the solves, I think first you need to do a lots of practice. I mean, I think uh, speaking in context of two-handed or one-handed, I think doing at least 50 to 100 solves every day is idea is good actually. It's good, and that's something you need to do basically every day. And that's the bare minimum. You need to do something else also if you want to be really like serious about like the event. For example, for example, if I'm practicing now, I'll do around 50 solves for 100, then work on organ recognition, for example, to improve my CML prediction. And then basically everything else is working on your weakness. For example, my CML prediction is good, but it's not where I want it to be. So I'll work on female prediction. For example, someone else like maybe I don't know, Fozan maybe can work on fingertips. No, but actually fingertips are good now, but can work on his what is it, first block inspection, everything else. So do solves and whatever else is your weak step, we work on it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you correctly said, that people think that only doing solves will help. That is a very wrong concept, I feel, because this is not big cubes. And also it's not necessary that big cubes also you only need to do solves. But majority of the big cube practice is stimulated to grinding. So
Yeah.
you can be decent, like I would say easily top 30 in India or top 25 maybe in big cubes, especially 5 to 7, by not learning anything else, not practicing much of the things, only grinding. And considering that your 3 by 3 average is at least below 15 seconds, because or else if you average 1 minute on 3 by 3, that 1 minute completely adds up. Correct. So this is something that people miss out. And as you told, fingertips are the base, and it's like if you don't know the letters or the alphabets in uh,
Yeah.
normal life in English, you cannot make words and sentences. It's similar in Cuban. If you don't know the fingertips, which are the base of solving, so how to turn? Like people can turn like this, but this would eventually, even if you have very less move counts, even if you do 30 moves, it will be still
Yeah.
be slower than a person who uses maybe 60 moves and has good fingertips like this.
Yeah, you
Correct.
will you will
So
hit a cap eventually. You will hit a ceiling and you can't
correct.
improve up. Yeah.
Yeah, so similar problem is something that I am facing right now, because I didn't practice much of a fingertips, a little bit the standard ones and in some algorithms. Like TPUM is one of my fastest algorithms, so still I have to improve a lot. But that is the point that people need to understand this point that fingertips are one of the base concept that people miss out. The major concepts that people think are especially the turning speed. I truly feel that if your turning speed is even half than someone else at the same time, at your same level, you can still be faster than them, because more than turning speed, like everything goes hand in hand. If you increase your turning speed, you will compromise your look ahead. If you improve your look ahead, you have to compromise your turning speed. And when you practice both, you slowly come at a level, and that's the like you are coming close to
It's not.
equilibrium, I would say.
Yeah.
Correct. So, as you are a science student, I would like to use science terms. So, yeah. So, equilibrium is the actual correct term that I would say that at a equilibrium point in Cuban, you will have a good Fingertricks, a good TPS, and a good lookout. When these things combine up and arrange in a very balanced way, you can actually see that your solves are improving. One thing that I would ask you is, when you started cubing, your first competition was Rubik's Cube Mumbai Open 2017. Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Your 3 by 3 average was 19.54. Correct.
Wow.
And it went on like right now you can just do the entire average in 19 seconds. So yeah, kind of
Yeah,
6 seconds. Yeah. So
good for me.
you you got a 19.54 average. In that competition, you were 63rd. The second
Mm.
comp you had, Indian Nationals 2018,
Yeah.
17.51 average, 118th rank. Your first
Yeah.
3 by 3 podium came up in 2019. That was RGIT Cube Open 2019, 10.16 average. After
Mm-hmm.
that, also, you had a huge gap. And after that, you podium in 3 by 3 in
Easy.
Oculus 2020.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Oh, wait, no. It was second round, my bad. You came first in second round, then ninth in
Yeah,
the
that's what
third round.
I remember.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So, so after that also from 23 you started coming first. Hmm?
Yeah,
So tell me one thing, like it has been 17 competitions for you, 16 competitions for you. Hmm?
I'm only 16.
Yeah, that's the point. I have 18. So the point is that how do you keep yourself motivated? Because this is the issue that I have seen as an organizer as well. As a cuber, it's not big of a deal that I would be concerned about because in a competition I go to give my best, and at a high level you also know that people know that you are at a good level. See, unless you mess up, you also, and as a cuber we also know that yeah, we have some chance in this podium, we are unlikely in this podium, but we can at least make our mind something like that. But if 100 people are participating, I would say even if all 17 events are there, 54 prizes, I would say the podiums won't spread more than 25 people,
Yeah.
maximum 30. So the
Um,
70 people who are coming to participate, some are surely motivated and some surely keep on practicing to be faster. But some people always get a bit sad, like the stat that WCA has of participants who have never returned after their first competition is a very huge drawback to the cubing thing right now. And the reason that online competitions and unofficial competitions are working so well with 200 people, 300 people, 500 people is the prizes. They charge a hefty amount. They, I would say, a hefty amount compared to the WCA competitions because it's for profit, and that's not nothing wrong actually. If people are happy in competing in online competitions and staying into cubing, and that's fine because everything has a purpose of, like, everything is a business. Correct. So what do you think? Like, how should people think about it? Because parents also at a point get it, like parents are still supportive these days, I would say more supportive than previously, because nowadays everyone is scoring 99% and everything. The thing that differs is extracurricular. Correct. So extracurricular, parents are trying to push their children to extracurricular activities, but as a child it always gets a little bit like, he won so many prizes, that guy won so many prizes, I didn't win, I will not participate again. So how do you think can people keep themselves motivated for this concept?
okay, so first of all, the people who come to the first competition never return back. They're mostly there for the experience. Okay, and what we need to do as WCA is that um, they need to have some incentives or at least some kind of activity or something that will make them feel important actually. So for example, that can be something just something like an unofficial event or something, a group activity kind of related to cubing. So when they come home, they'll think, yeah, I did something, I did something good even though I didn't win anything. And for example, in unofficial competitions, what I've noticed is that they have segregated the age, so I have to give more prizes. And WCA, I think, is in a weird spot because from what I've understood, their motto is basically they want everyone to participate. They want to have like they want not really a necessarily a competitive environment, but but only the fast people actually get anything out of it.
The
So
equality
they
part.
kind
That
of
WCA wants
they
equality,
kind
but
of get spot. Hmm.
yeah, correct.
Continue.
The equality part is something that the is a good factor and a bad factor as well. Because good
Hmm.
factor in the terms that there are 9-year-olds who are faster than maybe me as well. A lot of there. Mm.
Looking one.
Even in India, even in India, there are few kids who are faster than 18 and 20. I had an
Yeah.
experience in Karnataka. I lost two events by a person half of my age, and that to my main events. So this is what like some people take it as a positive, some people take it as a negative. But the negative part is a little bit more wide because it's a genuine fact, I would say. As a cuber, if I know that I am a small kid and people who are much older than me, as a normal thought, especially parents would think that the older children would have more advantage because they are bigger, so they would have more capacity, more abilities to do it. Though it's not very correct up till a mark, but I would say that it surely affects because kids who are starting out, they should have some motivation to continue further. If in the start itself, I will tell you that you cannot win, you are not winning anything for 10 competitions, you will also get demotivated. So this is
Yeah.
something that I have seen is a big issue. So again, the introduction to incentives, and we are also slowly trying to bring up more uh, age category prizes, more prizes, so that people can win and they go home happily, even if according to WCA it's not considered. Correct. Like especially in Bangalore. Why do you think that Bangalore is a big hub for cubing right now? And the competition that they are having in December, in very few days, in less than 2 weeks, I guess, they got 110 registrations. Correct. So that is huge. And my competition, like it's a 17 events competition. Still, we are stuck at around 50. It will go higher, no doubt. But still, so that is a big problem that we have, and slowly we are trying to fix it.
Okay, so I wanted to add something is that um I think the WCA is kind of it's not decided what it wants to be, because the motto is I think everyone is equal and everyone should be able to compete and all, but it's kind of I mean as a competitive keeper, I do want a like a circuit where it's only the fast people coming. So and if that happens, then WCA can be uh, completely an organization where they can focus on building the community. And and if we have a circuit for something like Red Bull, or maybe some like Saudi investors come in or whatever, we can have a circuit where there are qualifiers and then there are regional tournaments which will allow you to go to national and stuff like that. I think that will make giving a better like community for everyone else as well, and that will
Yeah, like
also
it can, yeah.
be investors in cubing, because from what I've noticed that when people when as a let's say I'm an audience, I get to see Yihing Wang, I get to see Timon, as then and if the viewing experience is nice, we'll get more sponsors and investors. So as such, the cubing community will grow bigger, and if that even if the competitive side gets bigger, the WC will also get bigger, because that's like how because WCA wants to grow the cubing community. So I think that's something we can do as a gaming community to improve the situation. Because
Correct.
previously,
So, yeah.
because previously in Mumbai, pre-COVID competitions, they used to fill out very quickly. There were a lot more competitors, but right now it's kind of sad. It's like we don't even hit the competitor limit anymore. So the cubing community is kind of it's not the best in India right now. It's growing in some places, but it's going down in some places as well.
Yeah, so it's like more of a, I would say it's going both ways. And new
Hmm.
keywords are coming every day, and the older ones are leaving
Yeah.
every day. Because it's like in Bengal, we had a competition like literally 6 months ago. We don't have much competitions, and due to less participants. Because see, if in Bengal, especially the scenario is like we have to bring up delegates from different states. Correct. So the cost is huge, and we always focus on covering up the cost because they spend so much time and so much efforts in the competition. So why to make them pay unnecessarily? Correct. So it's very impossible to have frequent competitions, especially considering the current scenario. Like we have 51, 52 people. Out of those, 21 are new people, newcomers, and 30 are returners. So that's a huge ratio for newcomers. That's a good thing. But the query that I have is how many of these 21 people will again come back? That
Yeah.
is the bigger query. Now the thing is, the WCA is stuck in between. It also wants to become something like Olympics, where
Yeah.
it's like the highest people qualify, and especially the new rule changes, we can now secure spots for the regional competitors. Like 8 spots can be secured. Like for example, in Asians, there might be like suppose Europeans and other participants who might take up final spots. Correct. So I heard this in the past, and the issue that was raised was a country where nationals was being held for that country. Huh? In the finals, I guess no competitor of that country was able to qualify because of the other fast people. Correct. So that entirely kills up the purpose for the national championship. So now the rule has
Yeah.
been updated that competitions like the bigger championships can uh, save up 8 spots, up till 8 spots for the regional competitors, and rest according to the ranks. Correct. So this is something that the WCA is moving both ways. One towards the side of Olympics, that it is a fast people sport, like who are best, they will compete. That's the good thing because that would encourage more sponsors and more viewership. Correct. But same point, they are also going towards the bottom side so that they encourage more cubers to participate, as it's a fair ground and it's an open competition basically. So what is happening is in the middle way, both the faster people and the newer people, I would say the older cubers and the newer cubers, both are getting some kind of crushed in between these rules, because faster people are not getting anything further than trophies, medals, and maybe improving their runs. Because see, faster doesn't necessarily mean national record, world record, everything. Um, Records, I honestly feel that I consider what you average normally more than the record. I might have a 123 Sidwell NR single, but that was my PB, overall PB, and I broke it after 3 months. Huh? So that was something like I usually average 130, so that is something that I would consider. So faster people would consider getting more incentives rather than the trophies, standard medals, and in some competitions, due to budget issues and high venue cost, it might even only give certificates. Correct.
Yeah.
So this is happening. Like I surely want that the thing improves, because sponsors need a reason to put
Hmm.
in money or invest basically. So for that, the only thing they need is viewership. If it's streamed online, then they need viewership. Because if they have more viewership, then only their brand will grow na. So that is how investing works and marketing works. If they know that they will put 100 rupees and they won't even get 10 rupees back, huh? So 90 rupees, why would anyone bear the loss? Correct. That can be done one time. One time, if a sponsor is there, one time they will see that how the entire thing is working. After that, they won't come back because they didn't had any benefit. Break even is also something that as a investor myself or as a sponsor myself, I would consider one time break even. Okay, we sponsored it, our brand value grew up. Break even is also fine, but so much of a loss, that is because of the way cubing is working right now. Chess is a very big sport right now. In Kolkata, we had the Tata Steel chess competition. I don't follow chess, but Tata is a sponsor of chess competitions, and we are not getting anything other than the cubing stores and cubing competitions. So that is something that if we have more prizes, more money in competitions, more incentives that people get, and we will surely see the community grow. And also cubing, like chess, see, the viewership is there. I would strongly say chess has more viewership than cubing because the audience is now very huge. But personally, very honestly, no offense to chess, chess seems a very boring sport, especially as a normal layman. I
I agree
don't
with you.
know anything about chess. Like basic things I know I used to play online, but that to the computer used to show the Windows 7 chess game used to show that you have to do these moves, like these are the possible moves. So a little bit of knowledge I have, but I don't know so much. Hmm. So as a
Mm.
viewer, I won't be watching chess, but when I am scrolling YouTube, I see two videos recommendation. One, uh, Magnus Carlsen versus Pragnananda, chess match. Second, Indian cuber solving the cube in maybe 20 seconds. As a layman, I would be seeing the 20 seconds video, even though I know that 20 seconds is like 7 times slower than the world record. Still, as a normal person, I would be preferring to watch a video which would excite me more rather than a match which I won't understand a little bit as well. Correct. So
Yeah, I
that is
think
the
this is the
point that
problem with WCA because WCA, like you said, it's not really focusing on the viewing experience. I think Red Bull tried something different, and I think it worked. But I think it still needs some. I think it still needs some work upon it to be done to reach the level I think I want it to be because I think I envision cubing more like esport kind of thing. I mean, compared to Counter Strike, I think I mean, if you compare it, I want cubing to be like more like Counter Strike where there are qualifiers, then you have a crowd, then you see the like players, I mean, solvers in this case, solvers solving the cube. So I think we also need to like get rid of some events. Unfortunately, maybe even big cubes, maybe clock. So, yeah, so like we need to focus on the viewing experience because that's where the money will come from. Exactly.
correct. So it's not only about removing the events, it's like a lot of like
No,
in
just
games
making
also.
it more view friendly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Huh, for sure, viewer friendly. Like WCA can do on with their work. Like Red Bull, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, for most of the people like watching this video might not know that before COVID, Red Bull was one of the biggest competitions happening in the world, not only India, in the
Yeah.
world with
Yeah.
Cuban, and that was an insane level matchup. I guess there was India qualifiers. The people from India. There is. I still remember the video of Kunalo versus Aryan Chabra in the Red Bull qualifier finals. Correct. And there was a world Red Bull Championship for Cuban. So it's like basically if you guys open up Red Bull's Instagram page, you won't see they are promoting their drink. They are only promoting the sports, paragliding, how far you
Correct.
can go on. Correct. So this is what Red Bull has made their repo life, and that's insane level. But the point is that if the community itself doesn't respond, and due to COVID also, I would say that Cuban got a little back, but still it can be revived if people put on their efforts correctly. Hmm. And again, as you know, Pranav, Bhaiya, you missed Cuban Clash, correct? You were about to participate, but you didn't participate. Cuban Clash that we organized.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Correct. So for
Mm.
people who don't know, the cubology that we organized, Cubing Clash 1.0, that was a one of a kind competition, a very intense matchup. Like
Yeah.
I was
It was
very
really
happy with
nice.
the outcomes. The best of three set format, the best of seven set format, and it was so intense. Like see, though it was for promotions, for branding, everything, I agree on that point. But if I know that this is something that can grow up very well, like Monkey League. Monkey League can be considered that it was a the original, I
I
would
really
say the
enjoy watching
OG.
Monkey League. I
Yeah,
think Monkey League
it is
was
the
really good.
OG. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Monkey League is something that people all over the world wait for every time for a new season. Cuban Clash is something that we tried similar to Monkey League, but with a different format, with a very different format, like combining up IPL, World Cup, everything format, and that actually turned out to be very well because especially the solvers were very happy with the format, and the audience was very happy. Slowly we are trying to increase the audience. We will surely be coming up with Cubing Clash 2.0 very soon, in the start of 2025 maybe, or maybe in the second quarter, because it was like personally as an organizer and as a viewer, I was so happy with the competition, how it worked on and how the entire setup worked. Even though we didn't had much of a team, I was the one who was doing with me, one or two people. We hired a video editor. Some mess up also he made. But anyways, so at the end, it was a very satisfactory thing that we did. It ran for like 1 month. I spent entire actually 2 months in the registrations and after the competition is done. So that is something that we have seen is growing a bit very good. Huh? And the online competition for people who don't know, Pranav Bhaiya won with a 6 average. The second place was 8 average. Correct. So this is what I mean. So the online competitions part, people can sit at their home and easily participate and show their skills. And especially the age categories is something that obviously I am a WCA cuber, I would say. And I personally don't prefer age categories, especially because it's biased. It's only for the kids. It's nothing like up to 18, up to 19, something like that. But jokes apart, so it was very good. So, as the organizing experience, the moment we ended up the competition, I was flooded with messages that it was a very good experience. My child enjoyed it and everything. In WCA competition, what do I need to listen? Hmm? It was good, but only the faster people winning, and especially pointing at me in Bengal comes. And it's sir, see, only the faster people winning everything. So that is the point. And now for the Bengal Cube Open also, if you see, the site sheet literally has no one. The funnier part is the Bengal Cube Open site sheet, the fastest event. Can you imagine what is the most competitive event in Bengal in the competition?
No, 6 by 6.
Square one. So square one podium, it's so cluttered, and clock. Square one and clock podiums are pretty cluttered. Rest events, it's like for example, 6 by 6 as you told. 6 by 6, my average is 1 minute 36. I'm first in the side sheet. Imagine the average of the second person,
2 minutes maybe.
7 minutes.
Oh,
Third person,
good for you.
third
Yeah,
person,
I don't know. 8 minutes.
no average.
No average. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that is the point. Like this is the point that I want to say that people can surely move on with different events. And it's more like, especially this competition, I'm more relaxed because we have a lot of newcomers. And as an organizer, I would surely prefer seeing more people. But the problem that I face is holding on with people. I feel so sad that Bengal Key Open 2022 is still the biggest competition of India till date. Not India, the East India. Biggest competition of East India till date, with somewhat 90 participants. So that feels so sad that we are not able to cross 100 even as participants. So, anyways, one last question that I would ask that I usually ask with everyone: what is your take on cubing as a career, and how can, like, parents usually I see nowadays are more supportive compared to what used to happen 10 years back. As far as I have heard, I was not in Cuban 10 years back, for people to clarify. Huh? But I have heard that it was much harder to cube that time rather than now. And also, nowadays, I would say the better cubes are coming. It is going cheaper as well compared to what it used to be. Still, there are 5,000, 6,000 rupees Rubik's cube. 3,000 is the normal good price of cubing cubes right now. But still, there are much good options in the cheaper side as well. So, what is your take that how do you think can parents support their children, or what do you think of the current scenario? And do you think that how far cubing can grow as a career? Because right now, especially in India, I don't feel that any cuber or some of the cubers also are earning very well with cubing and are enjoying their life. So, what is your take on this?
Okay, so first we'll talk about like how parents can like support their child. Um, I mean, uh, if you take a look at Felix, for example, he was getting sub-7 averages like probably like decades ago or something. I don't I don't remember, but he was getting 7 averages something like that a long time back, and now like around a 500 cube, 500 rupees cube, 600 rupees cube, you can easily get sub 10 average at least, even if you don't have that talent. So the entry to barrier is really low for buying the puzzle. And obviously, everyone has a phone, so they can easily even time and get all the resources. That's good. That's one good thing about giving is that the resources are widely available and free of cost. Problem comes is that for competitions, first of all, the location. for example, in national team, as we said, the competitions are there are not many competitions. So if you're in a region where there are not many competitions, you'll have to pay for the travel. And even if you're somewhere in a region like Mumbai, the cost of registration can be pretty high, 1,000, right? So that no, so not everyone can afford that. And um, that problem can again be solved by having circuits. So, like for example, if we have investors, right, they can and if someone was far but they couldn't afford the fees for some competition or the travel, right? Uh, in an ideal scenario, like for example, in what happens in Counter Strike, for example, the major, which is kind of like the World Championship, the Valve company funds the players' flights and hotel bookings and stuff. So something similar can happen in cubing as well, is what I think. So then as a competitive cuber, you can continue a competitive journey, but obviously you have to consider the financial aspect of it as well, right? Like how to actually earn money while being a competitive cuber. So again, if we have sponsors and investors, we and get viewers, right? Then we can then as a competitive cuber, you can earn money. I think Timon at one point, or maybe even till now, was cubing full time. So that's the competitive part of it. If we get more competitive, like a proper competitive circuit and tournaments, we can have that. But unless you are not talented enough to be there, like at that high level, or maybe you just don't have the time, we don't like the competitive aspect, but something else. So I think that's where it gets really tough, because you can open a retail business, but that's already that's already kind of tough. We have, like, even in India we have some players, and obviously there are lots of players in other countries also, and it's not easy. And again, for that you also need lots of capital in the first place, and or then the only remaining option basically becomes some creative work. But what I feel is that I don't think creative is really sustainable long term, because at least the way the community right now is, maybe it will change in the future. But let's take Japam for example. He started out with tutorials and stuff, and there's only so much you can do content about cubing, because cubing, most of the audiences are children, right? So you need to create content for children, and as time goes on, you will grow, and you will want to do something else. You want to do something different, but the YouTube like Meta will still force you to do content for children and do kind of the same repetitive content. So I don't think like the influencer kind of thing is sustainable for cubing. I think the Cubehead, I think even has, like, he was uploading a lot before, but right now he's kind of slowed down. So I mean, so I don't think there is much, like, financial you can earn financially from, if you are not a top speed cuber. And even if you have speed cuber right now, you still can't earn much right now. So it's only like hoping for getting more money in the future. There is some potential, obviously, but we'll see what happens. Because if for example something competitive happens, something like Red Bull happens, then maybe content creation you can do some about the analysis and meta stuff. So because uh, those Red Bull kind of competitions, people will get interested in it. Then, then there will be a demand for analysis of those videos and stuff like that. I think STU Cube, I think he's a YouTuber, right? He's doing, I think, great content about, like, the current top level solvers. So there is some hope for both of them, but right now it's kind of looking grim.
Yeah. So as you told, like it's slowly turning out to be, because for people who don't know, GAN has had their speed cubing league
Yeah, that's
recently.
something. Yeah, GAN one.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that is a smart cube league that GAN had. And they had around 10 or 15 of the top cubers in their app, whatever, and they invited as well. So they bared all the cost of their traveling, staying, everything. And this is something that is all we want. Correct. Like
Mm.
similarly, not even if not in that big scale. Actually, that was a very big scale. Big
Yeah,
screens, people solving.
that's I think that's the
That
future
was
we
a
should be.
huge. Correct. So that is how basically it's like more of a cricket thing. Cricket has grown because it's a viewer sport, and eventually, as it has grown because of the league format, because of the way it has been working, the sponsors have been very happy. And we read every day that this sponsor is sponsoring, suppose IPL for these many crores. Like people are like teams are buying people for 25, 26, 30 crores, and that itself is a huge thing. Correct. And if like I would say, even if 1% of that comes to queuing, that would be a huge change that we would see. So yeah, that is something we would surely hope for the future that it goes well. So yeah, coming to an end of this HC Talks episode, Pranavya is very much biased towards getting sponsors and Counter Strike as well. So
Yeah,
as people might know,
I mean, I'm
so yeah,
basically I don't really enjoy anything. I only basically enjoy the competitive aspect and social aspect as well. But I enjoy the competitive aspect of cubing, right? So I'm really biased toward that.
yeah, correct. So yeah, so overall, how was your experience, Pranav Bhaiya?
Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. I think you as a host was you as a host was really nice because you allowed me to express my opinions freely, and I think the questions were pretty good too. So it was a nice experience.
Yeah, so glad that you enjoyed it, and for viewers also, for sure they would also have enjoyed your way of thought process and the details that you shared about Roux, OH, 3 by 3, everything. So yeah, I guess let's keep it up till here for today. And I, Hitesh and Pranav, we are signing off from this HC Talks episode. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and let's meet in the next episode. Till then, bye.